your visualization, your charts and the rest, right? Uh, so just to the left of the canvas area, we have the filter panes. And this is where you apply filters to either a page. You can apply filters to a page, to a visual. You can also apply filter to um, one particular page or to all the pages, right? So that's the filter pane. We also have, beside the filter pane, we have the visualizations pane. This is where you can select the kind of charts you want, a table, slicer, and rest. Yeah. So the next one we have the data pane. So whatever data tables you have put into Power BI, you see them here in form of tables, and you can work with them, add them to your chart, and create dashboards that can produce insights. So that's all. We are just going to do some practice right now. So you can launch your uh, Power BI desktop with me.
So everybody, you can confirm that you have your Power BI already opened. I'm hoping that we have our Power BI open as he's trying to navigate towards his something. You might want to start it from scratch without opening this one you have, and then later you can open this particular practice.
Okay. 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 So already I have. So let me just close everything I have. Right? Okay. So if you have your Power BI application, right? For me, it's at the corner of my screen, so I can just double click the icon. Okay. So the application is launching. Good. So you can select a data source, you can work with a blank Power BI report, or you can open an existing Power BI report you already have. So it all depends on you. For me, I had create all. Let's just start with a blank report, right? I don't need to. Let's start with a blank report. So I click on this blank report. Good. So now this is a fresh um, Power BI report. So like I said, these are the tabs. These are the four views. Once you over your cursor, you see report view, you see the table view. This is where you view your tables. You see the model view. This is where you view your relationships. When we begin to add data, we'll come back to this and dark query review. This is where you write complex dark queries, right? Okay, so so let's just go to the tabs. So the first tab we look at is the file tab, is where you can save. You can also get data, import and export. You can open Power BI files. Also, we have the insert tab. You can insert a new page, a new visual. You can get more visual. There are a lot of other persons that they are what they do. They develop some of these visuals. So if you are not satisfied with the visuals you are seeing here, you can also go to more visuals and you see some from Microsoft, some from some other third-party um, actors that create visuals, right? Some are paid, some are free visuals. Yeah. Okay, so these are AI visuals, the composition tree, key influencers, and narratives, right? So you can also insert a paginated reports, Power Apps, Power Automate, which are also part of the Power Platform. You can also insert a text box. You can insert buttons, yeah, arrows. If you can attach an action to each of these buttons when you are building a complex and multi-page report, but that will be later on. You can also insert shapes, right? Different kinds of shapes. You can insert an image from the web or from your system. Okay. So for the modeling tab, yeah, you can create a measure, a column, a calculated column, but that will not be for this class. But we just want to familiarize yourself with all these things, right? So modeling has to do with the relationship between two tables. When you are building a complicated report and you are dealing with several tables, so you will have to maybe sometimes create measures, create new columns, create tables, and the rest of that. Okay, for view, yeah, this is just design. After building your dashboard, you want to change the feel, the look. Yeah, you can choose one of these ones. You can also work on your mobile layouts. These are just page options. So filters, this also works with your the filter tab that is here. By clicking on this filter stuff, I had removed it, so you can toggle it on. You can also add the bookmark tab. Yeah, so use bookmark to capture key data for yourself, right? So you can add some other tabs here. Selection. I really do not work with these things, so I don't think I've ever tried them before. Okay, so that's just it. So you can refresh your visuals for optimize. You can just do a lot of good stuff with these things here. So the first thing we want to do, we want to connect to our data. So one of the advantages or one of the key things Power BI does is it allows you connect to different data sources, flat files, databases, web pages, HTML, and all of that, right? You can get data from a variety of sources. So we just got some data sets we are going to be connecting to. So that is the first thing we're going to learn here. Okay, so let's try and get data. Okay, so you can see already when you open a fresh Power BI dashboard um, with your Power BI desktop. So this is like a Power BI file. Currently, because I've not saved, it's untitled. Okay, so these buttons you are seeing here, yeah, we have import data from Excel. It's just like it says, if you want to get data from an Excel flat file, if you want to get data from an SQL server, paste data into a blank table or use a sample data. So there are some sample data that comes with Power BI. You can get data from there to just try your hands and do some analysis. Okay. Now I'm feeling we should use sample data, but no, let's just work with what we have. So first of all, before you start connecting to data, right, you must understand the data source you are connecting to. So first of all, I go to where the data is, yeah, data sets. and we are using this WWI, right? So we have a fact sale table. So this is a table that has to do with sales. We have employee table, we have customer table, and you can see some of these files that some are in CSV, some are in Excel, that's Excel file, right? So we're going to connect first of all to this fact sale table. Good. So we come to get data, and then you can see there are various common data sources, right? We have Excel workbook, data flows, Dataverse, SQL Server, analytics services, web, data feeds, if you are connected to something like SAP, right? We have blank queries, and there's more, right? There's more. So if I click on more, it's going to show me all kinds of connections, the IBM, SAP for HANA, database, and all of that. There are a lot of things you can connect to. A lot of things, online SharePoint list and all of that. So for this class, this beginners class or this basic class, we'll just go with text CSV. Yeah. So, okay, I actually did some tests before this class, so automatically it refers me to the last folder I was working on. But you know your system, you can always navigate to wherever you save the data set. Okay, so we want to connect to the fact cell, we select it and we say, okay, I'm not checking the chat, but I'm seeing comments on the chat. Hope we are safe. Okay, I'm seeing Saya too fast. Okay, so Mr. Kalu, how should I retrace my steps?
Okay, good evening, sir, and thank you so much for the guidance you're giving. Like on my own end, I'm still trying to launch the data. Like just like you have the data already saved on your laptop, we don't have the data yet. So I just saw the link that was sent to the chat box, and I'm still trying to like navigate to know the particular data we are using. So that's why I asked maybe you could give us some time to get data, have it saved, so that we don't get to miss any steps. I don't know if I'm speaking the minds of other people on the call, but I have the drive open now, but I don't actually know the particular data we're using on the class today.
Okay, please, just apologies. I will just tell the instructor to quickly maybe share a screen on his OneDrive and point it, and then show us again the particular one. But I will also drop the link of the particular data now on the chat for everybody again, while he shows us via his screen the particular data and repeat the step for us. The link is incoming now.
Okay, so so in the Power BI training events, in the folder data set, then WWI. So we are connecting first with the fact cell table. I don't know if that's clear. So this folder can be shared with you. Tristan, can you help me with that? Have you shared it with them?
Yes, I've done so. I've shared the link again, particularly for that particular data set. I've shared it again, and they can just click on it. They'll take them there and they'll download it to their local system. Everyone on the call, please confirm that this link is accessible to you. Oh, I think something might have been knocked off or he is muted.
No, I was on mute.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah,
I
please.
can go on, right?
Yeah, let me get the feedback from Kalu David and from any other person on the call. Are you able to click that link? Is it able to direct you? Oh, Francis says with a thumbs up that he's able to access it.
Okay.
Kalu, are you able to access it?
The data just opened, so I'm trying to download it now to my
Okay.
PC so I can
Okay.
launch it to the Power BI.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So can I go ahead? Okay. So Kalu David, are you ready now?
Yes, I have the file saved on my laptop now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's go. So you have a file and we are trying to pull data from that flat file into Power BI, right? So that you can create your dashboards and then do your analysis and all of that, right? So you come to under the home tab, this data subsection, you have get data here. You click on it. If you are not seeing um, the data source, right, you want to connect to here, you can always click on more. So when you click on more, Power BI is going to show you all of the data sources, kinds of data source it can connect to. So you can actually search, for example, I want to connect to text and CSV, right? I can search on it, it comes out. So once I click, I say connect, right? So it takes me to my desktop, right? So I just navigate to where the exact file I want to connect to, and then I select connecting to the fact sale.csv, and I say open. So good. So Power BI just gives you a sample, right? A sample of the data, right? And it takes it to rows and columns, so you can inspect to see if everything is correct, right? So in the next data we import, we're going to transform the data, but for now, let's just load because after my inspection, I can see that there's nothing wrong with this data. So I can load the data into Power BI. So I click load. Good. So if you followed me, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. Okay, so if you follow what I did, right, you'll see there's a table. The fact the CSV file we connected to, we have successfully loaded the data into Power BI. So it comes to this data view area, right, in the report view. So from here, you can see all the columns in the table, right? So if you go to the table view, you can see it, the same data you reported, right? You can see the summary. There are about 26,397 rows here. You can see the different columns and all of that. Okay, so let's also, because we are still in the basics, let's also, because one of the major things about Power BI is connecting to data. Okay, so let's try and connect now and do some transformation. So let's connect to another table. So this one I want to connect to an Excel workbook. Now I've connected to a CSV file. I would like to connect to an Excel workbook. So let me connect to Excel. So it takes me to the last folder I was working on, and I have this team employee Excel file, right? So let's load this data into Power BI. Good. So when you see something like this, what Power BI is trying to tell you is that this is the Excel workbook, but you know a workbook contains many sheets. So when you see this team employee is a sheet inside this Excel workbook. All right. So if you have more than one sheet in that workbook, you are going to see them listed here. Also, if you have a table also in the workbook, you're also going to see that represented here, right? So in a sheet in Excel, you can have more than one tables. You are also going to see the name of those tables here, right? You see the sheet, you also see the table. So I just want you to note that. Yeah, so I select that and I can see that a lot of data here. Okay, so we'll just try and work on this data, right? We'll say transform data. Yeah, my system is slow. I think, okay. So this screen you have here is what we call the Power Query Editor. This is where you can modify your data, the data you are loading into Power BI. This is where you modify it before it goes fully into Power BI, right? As a table, right? So you can do a lot of, you can remove columns, you can remove rows, and all of that, right? You can change the column. For example, if a column is, you can see in each of the columns, you can see, anyway, I'm not teaching data transformation anyway. So in that class, they will explain this more to you, right? But just so that you be familiar with these things. So for each of the columns, you can see the data type, right? So there are various kinds of data types. If I click on this drop down, you see decimal number is a data type, whole number, fixed decimal number, percentage, date, time, text, true or false, binary. These are all different kinds of data types. And Power BI will try to represent the data type for each column. For this one, we can see is whole number. See, this is ABC's text and all of that. So let's, in this example, just test playing around the system. Let's try to delete maybe a column. Maybe we are seeing a column that we don't need. Let's start with this photo column, for instance. I can select the column and although this column is coming from Excel, but you don't want it in Power BI, you can just click on remove column, and you see that column is removed. You can also, I think there's a remove row somewhere. Let's see.
It's
Okay,
on the
yeah, there's
transform.
remove
Yeah.
row. Yes, there's remove row. Yes, so if I select a row and I want to remove this row, probably I'm seeing some very funny data. I can remove the rows, say remove top rows, remove bottom rows, remove duplicates. So you can do all kinds of changes here as needs may be. Yeah, so I can say remove top rows. How many rows? It's asking me how many rows you want to remove from the top. I just say one. One is okay. Yeah, say okay. So you see, I've removed the first row. So you can do a lot of things here, right? So yeah. Is someone speaking? Okay, I'll just continue, right? So whatever change you
Amachi, shut down na singlet in on a clothes. Please give me before I want to catch you in here.
Apologies, I've muted.
okay, so whatever changes you make here, the system will always record it, right? So when you are refreshing this data, it will always follow this applied steps. So I can come in here and say close and apply, right? So yeah, you can see it wasn't here before, but after it's done, you're going to see it here. Okay, yes, good. So now we have it here. So we have our dim employee, and we also have our fact sale table. So if we come to the table view, we can view the both of them. We can see the columns in each of them. In the dim employee, we can see the columns. Also, when we come to the relationship view, so if Power BI can actually automatically, if it senses the same column name in both tables, it will actually create a relationship between them. But this is a fact sale table. This is employee table. So we can actually make the connection ourselves. Okay, so here we have the employee. So the employee here should be, I think, the salesperson, right? So we can connect
Um,
employee
Apologies,
to,
sir, to cut you. Please,
yeah.
after deleting the columns and rows, how do we like move to the next step? Because I missed that
Okay.
step.
Okay, so I think there's in your Power Query, there is a button close and apply at the top left corner of your screen. Have you seen
Okay,
it?
yes. Yes, I've seen
So
it.
you can click, yeah, close and apply.
Okay, yes, I can see it by the extra mark now. Thank you.
Yeah. So okay, so let's just continue. Right. Um, so we're about to connect, we want to create a relationship between two tables, right? From the table dim employee to the fact table, okay? And we want it a one-to-many, right? In the fact table, you are going to have many of these employee keys in this table, but in the dimension employee table, you will have just one, right? So we can say that and say, so you see, we have successfully created a relationship between the, that this dim stands for dimension. This is just a a convection, right? So when we are dealing with a lot of tables, we want to know which ones are the fact tables and which ones are the dimension tables, right? I believe we understand what fact and dimension tables are. Do we understand that?
No, we don't.
Chisom.
Seconded.
Okay,
Please, can
so
you
I'll
explain
explain.
it a bit, sir? And also this
So
relationship step. So maybe you could go over it a little bit. So thank you.
okay, so a fact table, right, contains transaction information, right? For example, the one we're looking at now, we're looking at sales. It means for every sale that is done, it will be recorded in this table. But a dimension table is actually a table that provides more information in the fact table. So you can have sales, and then in the dimension table, you can have just a table that talks about employee. There's always context when it comes to the dimension table, right? So this table has just the list of employees. You can say, okay, another table is the list of products. So these are dimension table. They have a specific theme. So one role in the dimension table is actually unique. So you have one employee, you have one um, product, and also it's always context. But for fact table, there are transactions going on, right? Right. I don't know if that explanation was clear. So actually, the dimension table just describes the fact table. I don't know if that's clear. Okay, so since I'm not
Yes,
getting
it
it,
is.
yeah. Okay, so let's go on. So someone also asked a question about, Carlo, what did you say again?
Yeah, like how you created, maybe you could kindly go over the step on how you created the relationship between the fact and the dim table. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let me first of all delete the relationship, right? Yeah. Okay. So or to create a relationship between these tables, you find the fields, right? Like I said, the dim employee table is going to provide more information for the fact table. So here we have employee key, right? Which is a table for employees. So you have the employee. Let's look at the table again, right? You understand the table. So in the employee table, you have the employee key, which is unique. You have the employee name, preferred name, and a lot of other data about this each particular employee, right? You come to the fact table. You uh, you can see that maybe one employee can appear many times um, based on how many transactions or how many sales they did, right? You can have one employee appearing a lot of times in this table, okay? But we can't, when we say salesperson key 85, we can't actually tell which employee is that. So that's why you need to connect this particular column to the employee table where we can now fetch, because this employee key, it's stored in the dim table, right? So when we connect it, we can now pull for the actual information. What does this 85 mean, right? We have to go to this dim table and check who is employee number 85, and then it begins to make sense to us. So that's what relationship is all about, right? I think that's the simplest way. I don't know if you got me, Carlo.
Yes, I did. Well understood. Thank you.
Okay, so now I want to connect the employee key to the sales key. So Power BI will show you like a summary. So you can see here from the DIM table, you see the employee key 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the sales person key also. So yeah, we are, and it's showing you cardinality 1 to many, right? Do you understand what 1 to many relationship means? Please be free. Oh. Okay, I'll just explain since there's no question.
Yeah,
So you
please
want
kindly explain, sir.
Okay, so a one-to-many relationship, just as it means, right? It means for they can only exist one occurrence of a particular each of these rows in this table are unique, right? And they can only exist one. You cannot have employee key here one and then have another row again. You have another employee key here one. They can only be one unique value, right? But in this other table, you can have this same employee number one appear in so many sales. Employee number one can sell an item today, come back and sell tomorrow, but you cannot have two employee one. You can this okay. The name of the employee now is Lily Code. You can't have two Lily Code in this table, right? You can only have one of this particular person. So it's one, the code is can only be one here, but it can appear many times here. So when you want to connect these tables, you say one to many relationship, just signifying that in this table, I can appear only one time. In this other table, I can appear many times. I don't know if you understand. Yeah, you understand?
Yes, sir. Well understood. Thank you.
Okay. So I can go ahead, right? So I can say save. Good. So now this arrow shows this arrow shows the cross filtering. Okay, let me not bother about that, but see, later in class we'll look at that. So we have successfully connected these two tables together, and now we can now create our view. Okay, we can now create our visuals. So we'll just create one. My battery is just 11%, but let me see if we can create just one visual. So the next class I'll be taking you guys is on visualization. So I'm going to explain as much as possible most of the visuals, but let's just create one for this class. So all these visuals, they have their purposes, right? They have what they do, they have what they tell you, they have the kind of insights they can bring from the data. So let's say I want to use
Hello, Samson. Are you still on the call? You seem like you're muted.
I think his laptop has finally gone down because he complained that he only had 10% and also being
Sure.
connected to the internet and all of that. So I think his laptop has gone down.
Okay.
I think the laptop has packed up, so it's good as to maybe continue another day.
So just a second, I would just wrap this up for us on the call.
Right.
Where he was trying to show us. I have a funny looking screen. Please, very dark looking. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen to help us get over the block. So confirm when you can see my screen. I'll share screen.
Okay.
Yes. So as Samson was saying, just to wrap up the call, on the visualization aspect, this place is the canvas. If you don't mind, I could quickly go and connect to the data to enable us have the same view as what he has. If you just give me a second,
Some
I
people
will.
have of this class.
Oh, some people have gone out of the class.
So we are like 4 now.
Okay. So
Maybe
to wrap,
that's when he comes. Which day again is he coming? He will
we have
now.
you should know we have classes on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Tuesdays 5 p.m., Fridays 8 p.m. Yeah. So let me
Now
just
I've seen the by 8 today. Though I know all these things he's saying, it's just for me to support. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I've gone far beyond this, but I have to support. My presence is needed. I have to support to make others be able to. But all the same is well, Chiso. We'll have to look for a way to bring people in, especially those that doesn't know, because I think most of our people have gone through these classes. So
yeah,
it's now
I think we can take this discussion offline, right? We can speak about them in private. So that we don't use the classes time to talk about how we should organize. The materials are always there for everybody to join. We can only give people access to learn. If we only find 3 or 5 people, it's okay. I don't think that our focus should be on numbers. So Kalu, to wrap up, tomorrow there is a makeup class, more like any place you are stuck. The trainer tomorrow at 2 p.m., you can just log in with the same time. He would be there to answer questions and get everybody on the divide. Anybody who has issues around how they are unable to access the learning materials so far taught for the week. I hope that works for you and for the rest of the team. So tomorrow at 2 p.m., it's not a compulsory class. If you know you are not caught up with what has been taught, you can always join in on the call and ask questions. That's why it's called the office hours. So I'd like to wrap up by thanking everybody who stayed for a minimum of an hour to the call. To have a splendid evening and happy weekends to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chiso.
Thank you, Kalu. Thank you, Chisom. Thank you, Esther. Let's see you on the other side tomorrow or next week.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
Night.